Whichever mediocre NPC, boring ass football watching dude you're dating right now, just block him immediately with no explanation, okay? Let's say you're a soulful, brooding male hero living an emotionless and boring existence. If only someone could come along and open your heart to the great, wondrous adventure of life. Have no fear, the manic pixie dream girl is here to give new meaning to the male hero's life. She's stunningly attractive, high on life, full of wacky quirks and idiosyncrasies, generally including childlike playfulness and a tendency toward petty crime, often with a touch of wild hair dye. She's inexplicably obsessed with our NPC hero, on whom she will focus her crazy antics until he learns to live freely and love madly. All right, ladies, so I have been seeing this term tossed around in many different areas, and there was like a part of me that, like, in the back of my mind was like, is that me? And then the part about crime and hair dye, I was like, oh no, that can't be me. But today I read a definition of it on Reddit. It's like, I'm like, I need to get rid of this little nagging in the back of my mind. And it described her as actually the female Prince Charming. And when I read it that way, my mind was blown. And I thought, I need to come on here and make this video for other girls who were like me at that age, who were being taken advantage of, having their life force and their energy and their transformational power, beauty, and youth drained away by absolutely useless males who didn't offer anything to their life and actually just drained them further. And I need to come on here and warn all of you. I need to tell you the regrets I have, the things I wish I would have done. And you know what's really funny is it's so ironic because I remember watching these other movies or these stories that I was very interested in because they really grabbed the attention of the collective consciousness. One of them was Twilight, and the other one was 50 Shades of Grey. So there was always something about it that bothered me. And we know sometimes when something kind of nags at you, there's something there for you. But I remember thinking like, no, like these characters don't apply to me, right? It's a woman who falls for this highly attractive billionaire who's like ultimately powerful. And he chooses this plain, average woman with absolutely no virtues, no interests, no, she doesn't even have beauty. And I was like, no, that none of these characters have really applied to me. But oh no, I would be wrong. It hasn't been the case for all of my dating history. I've been in about 4 long-term relationships, and I would say like half of them were like that. Half were people who were on my level and developing me in life. It was this dynamic where it was like, I loved being the one who was like coming into their life and like bringing color and life and ideas. And, you know, looking back, I really, really had low self-esteem. I had high confidence. We see that in this trope, like maybe you're really good at what you do, you know you're attractive, you have uh, extrovert confidence to do things, but like deep inside, you're like missing something, some inner sense of worth that tells you that, you know, running after and being with these mediocre guys is a huge waste of your life and life force energy. And I find that usually the women who do this, it's because they either had physically or emotionally absent father figures. They had families they didn't really connect with, right? Maybe they're the black sheep in their family. Maybe they chose to do different things. And so they become used to having this like outsider mentality. And so when this absolutely average milk toast man who's never done anything of importance in his life, who's never been brave or confident or taken a chance or a risk of any fucking kind, comes across her, she's like this mystical creature. And the feeling to her may be very intoxicating because, you know, that's kind of a lonely existence. Back when I was dating a guy like this, it would be like my first experience. I moved in with a man in my 20s and he was like in his 30s. It was just such a, I don't even consider it a relationship. It was just like a really bad experience. Someone actually did tell me, hey, he's never had a girlfriend before. He lives in his parents' basement. Like, maybe you shouldn't be doing this. And I didn't listen. You know, I didn't understand hormones. I didn't understand my own psychology and the psychology of men. And I was really, really lonely and miserable. And I was this manic pixie dream girl. You know, I had tons of ideas. I brought lots of verve and life and humor and beauty into the spaces I went into. But what were these spaces? Working at Shoppers Drug Mart, retail store, and dating this below average male who liked watching TV and corn and going to football games and putting Maxim magazines behind the toilet. And like, it was just, and you know what, I needed, unfortunately, I needed all of these terrible experiences with men to teach me what I was doing wrong. Every time I would be like, okay, course correct, course correct. You know, I grew up watching my mother, and she was like always with these men who, you know, they were alcoholics, they were losers, they were criminals, they stole from me. You know, one of them, I don't know why, I swear she was like baiting them or something, but she gave me this opal ring once for my birthday. You know, I'm a Libra, October, the opal birthstone. And she's like, oh, go show him. Why? I don't know. And of course, it disappeared in the middle of the night while this man was also staying over. And I remember, you know, the next day she just like criticized me. You know, you always lose everything. You're not careful. You're this, you're that. And I remember searching in the grass outside the house all day long while he sat there, you know, perfectly fine, you know, and looking back now, finding out that he was a druggie. You know, this man had access and opportunity to sneak in and steal my ring off me in the middle of the night. Who knows what else could have happened? So because of this, my standards for men initially were pretty low. Like, I chose men who had like good jobs. I chose men who had like families who were welcoming to me. That was what I always kind of wanted, to like get involved with a man and be part of his family. I wouldn't recommend that. I'll talk about that in another video. So the odds of you finding a man who is worth all of the energy and joy and beauty and youth you're going to bring to the relationship, who is also the same age as you, is very low. And when you're in your 20s, if you find a man who's like older than you, like I did, like in his 30s or 40s, and he's interested in you, that's a huge red flag too, because like, so really, I would say that what your 20s should be for is building yourself up as a human, learning your own intrinsic self-worth, learning who you are, learning about yourself, building up a career. So if you were a manic pixie dream girl, and by the way, you can still have these tendencies later in life, okay? It's not just for when you're in your 20s. Like, I still kind of have that vibe, and I still kind of like that idea. So this can happen to women of all ages, all right? So that's why I'm making this video. So the first thing you need to do if you recognize this kind of tendency in yourself is to, number one, stop dating. Whichever mediocre NPC, boring ass football watching dude you're dating right now, just block him immediately with no explanation, okay? I have a free resource for you. That is an audiobook on self-esteem by Nathaniel Branden. The first 5 minutes of this book had me crying on the floor, okay? It's free, you need to listen to it. Go through the whole thing, journal what comes up for you, work through it. Get in therapy if you can, and also get involved in some things that will help you start to develop your self-esteem with others in a healthy way. My recommendation is martial arts. You start to develop healthy camaraderie, people admiring you for showing up, being part of the group. There are healthy ways to get validation that don't involve having your life force energy drained off by a useless male. The second thing you need to be doing with all of that magical energy is getting your money up. As a woman, your youth, your beauty, your energy, your vitality are highly valuable. So what can you apply this to? Well, think about it. What industries benefit from youth, energy, beauty, vitality, creativity, humor, charm? Find those industries that are highest paying, that are also fulfilling for you, that allow you to develop yourself as a human, and get involved in that instead. Of course, I recommend social media, YouTube, TikTok. Make the videos, get the sponsorships, start developing yourself as a brand. And once you have your feet under you, you can start anything from there. So go ahead and examine your real intentions, your real inner desires for dating. It takes a long time, a lot of insight and honesty with yourself to see where these desires are really coming from. And once you understand your worth and your value, you don't have to settle for less for these men, okay? You're not going to be running out here with, the average Charlie who's got his 2 kids from his divorce, who his ex-wife is sick of, and woo, now he's got this, manic pixie dream girl who has like low self-esteem and like doesn't know she should be doing anything else with her life to come and, drain her up and then, make her sick and tired and then complain when she's not doing this, that, and the other thing. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.